Yeah, I think it's not in March, but also chat. Well, it's easy actually, like, taking down or. Well, just got. Yeah, well, I think probably not going to get there. You're like, come on. Yeah, you don't get anything over the question.
My agenda went to Greece and I was like, great, I will eat steak every day. Eating dinner.
Sure. Forward this office meeting, virtual Borough Council. I'm just sure we do this in part of the. Everybody, please join me in a moment of silence. Since our last meeting, we've had an unfortunate passing of Denise Moulton's father, and also our officer Natalie, who passed away after a 3-year battle with cancer recently. So please join me in a moment of silence. This meeting is being held in compliance with the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. It's been advertised in the retrospect of the bulletin board downstairs and on all official borough media, social media channels. I ask if you have a cell phone, please put it on silent. If you need to speak to somebody while we're conducting business, please do so outside. Changes. Roll call, please.
Mr. Fitzgerald. Mr. McLeod.
Here.
Ms. Morales. Here. Mr. Carnell. Mr. Sparaza. Mr. Woods. You have a quorum.
I'll be expecting Mr. Woods this evening.
Yeah, fine.
Good. Okay, first item on the agenda this evening is the public portion of the meeting. Anyone from the public who wishes to come forward and speak on any topic, please come forward, state your name and address, go over the record. All right. Hearing and seeing nobody coming forward, we'll close the public portion of the meeting. We'll skip over old business. We don't have any old business in this caucus meeting this evening. We do have 5 items for new business. Let's get into those. First item in the new business agenda is the shade tree ordinance discussion regarding removing and replanting trees on private property. So at council 2 weeks ago, Mr. Woods had brought up the idea that the Shade Tree Commission was interested in such an ordinance. And in that time period, Mr. Higgins, I believe, worked with Woods and developed the draft ordinance that is in front of everybody here. And so, you know, I know Mr. Woods isn't here this evening to talk about this, and I don't believe that there is any intent to introduce this in the first reading this evening, probably at the next meeting, but I don't know if anyone's had an opportunity to review this and provide any comment, feedback on this. I'll only say from a very high level that, you know, one of the things I think we pride ourselves on in this borough is the fact that we are a Tree City USA. I've been for 42 years now in 2024. And it's something that I think sets our borough apart. I also understand the need for residents on their property to remove trees from time to time, as is their right. But that we should make a commitment to our borough and planting additional trees and establishing a fund and a cost for those removals is not, I don't think it's out of line. I just think it has to be, you know, rationally related to the policy that we're trying to accomplish here, which I think is to continue to plant trees and have fun and do so. And maybe even use some of this fund, not just for planting, but additional removal of borough-owned trees that are in at end stage of their life. So I don't know, you know, I'm supportive of this, not necessarily this specific ordinance, but the idea behind this. And so that's sort of where I stand. I don't know if other council members have any thoughts, not specifically on this ordinance. I'm not asking for us to go through and wordsmith it, but I am seeing where everybody lands on this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah. Yeah. You're a mustache.
Yeah, actually. I'm not necessarily opposed to this. I need to understand a little more. Means you are reaching on the private property at this point, saying, hey, you know, I'm not talking to you, saying. If you are trying to move a tree that has a caliber tree of more than 2.5 inches, you now need to get a permit from the fire in order to do something. I want to understand what that permit process is a little bit by this. What would be the reason we would say no? Is, you know, we don't want to remove it, or is it just a, hey, you gotta replace it? So I see a replant, like, you know, there's a tree to be removed, replant. It's not a 13-inch caliber tree, you get one tree for every 13-inch caliber tree. That's where I'm thinking about it. I like the idea that you cut a tree down again.
Right, and or if you don't want to put it up, you pay it into a fund.
Right.
You trigger something, you put it,
Or you can put it up on public properties. I'm not sure what to
I don't think this in any way is trying to regulate whether you can or cannot.
Not touch it. That's
I
what
mean,
I'm
we don't have the right. Speak out of turn, but the borough doesn't have any right to go on someone else's property and so to say you can't remove that tree on your property.
What happens if the tree is dead or dying?
I don't think that this makes any distinction for that.
So it's a 4-foot tree.
It's a house tree, it's not a tree.
Well, I'm nomination that's.
We have stipulations in the ordinance that determine whether it's considered a housing tree.
What are the stipulations?
It's in the-
The theory of getting the permit itself is more not so much for the removal, not, it's for the being able to go and make, number one, charting the tree that's being taken out. Being able to measure it so that they know that if, you know, what the replacements are going to be. It's kind of a post removal.
But you have to prove that.
And if you choose not to replace the tree or make some notes to really how much contribution to the fund.
Right.
Does it, and taking a look over, it doesn't make any distinction from what trees to replace. What, you know, the tree that being, the replacement trees, I should say.
Again, yeah, I mean, I don't think, again, I don't think you can go that far. I think you can make recommendations on the types of trees based upon what is native to this area and or, you know, but I don't think you can tell people, hey, you gotta put this type of.
But there is that, for the tree law, we should have some of that authority, because I believe we can't. Because you have.
For our trees,
Yeah, but it says, it does say within the tree line.
what do you mean?
The right of way between the roads, so like you're gonna talk about utility infrastructure, that sort of.
Well, that's going under the jurisdiction of the Shade Commission anyway.
Yeah, conversation,
I thought it said it's not the one there as well.
You're worried about treating people's private properties that extend into the right of way.
Mostly that someone replaced an inappropriate tree in a spot that shouldn't be, you know.
Like they put an oak or a London bloodwood plane tree underneath the power lines.
Yes, and that's gonna kind of like.
So it's kind of going to grow up into this. They're gonna whack the top off, yeah, the tree. That's
For PSCG, yeah.
Yeah, you don't should, you know, so, but if you put a smaller tree, like a cherry tree, yeah. But that's the public space, right? You're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I saw references. I obviously understand it, so I'll take a look.
So I think, and I don't know, Tim, you shared this with Ray.
Right.
I'm assuming the Shade Tree Commission hasn't had a meeting to have reviewed this yet. And I think that it would be important to have their input.
Yeah, I agree.
So what I mean, again, I think from a 40,000 foot perspective, I think that this could be good policy.
Yeah.
I think that there's a good reason behind it. You know, either planting or funding the planting of new trees.
Well, that also quite frankly is important that in some places, it's actually better to have a tree on the private property anyway, but
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
So let's, I'd like for this to be reviewed by Shade Tree. When's the next Shade Tree meeting? So we're past that. That was last week. All right, so, well, we will have a council meeting on the 26th of February. So I'm gonna try and bring this back at that point, maybe we can introduce it at that point, so. I would ask for feedback and revisions, after that meeting on the 15th of February from Shade Tree. And then, get those to you, Dennis, so that when the agenda comes out, let's say they're Thursday, the 21st or 22nd, the council can have a review those. I think we can introduce it at that time.
I had one single recommendation, remove vertical police from enforcement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing about this ordinance too is that the amount, the dollar amount is not in the ordinance, that should be. And that can be put, that doesn't go in this ordinance, that can be put.
This would be probably.
Yeah, this isn't necessarily meant to be cut off. We get whatever.
Yeah,
that's what I was trying, it's placing. Okay. Anything else on Shade Tree ordinance?
I would just say if there's anything with the tree replacement requirements, say that we look at it, sometimes it's more economical for someone to replace smaller trees than find something 2.5 inches depending. Just say more different options, if we could have a little bit more, I don't know what the towns have used, I don't know how Fulton was provided that, but. If someone takes down a 33-inch diameter tree with 4, maybe it's cheaper to do 6 smaller ones. Or that's all.
Okay. Good point. All right. Thank you. Okay, next, the 150th anniversary update. Let's talk about where we are.
So, as everybody knows, we are planning several events, to celebrate the 50th anniversary. The next one coming is History Night, which is February 29th. We're making good progress with that. We have a number of different categories of virtual history that will be represented, from architecture to schools, and even just sharing different stories and kind of lore about the town. And hope to have, council support and as many of your attendances are available. Then moving on past that is the big anniversary weekend, which is May 18th and 19th. We have a parade that we're working on. There's going to be a dinner party in the downtown, and then a traditional virtual birthday picnic in the park. And this is, all of these things we're going to need support with, from council, from businesses, and from our residents. And one thing that we had discussed at the last committee meeting for this was having our council members who are really spread out throughout town very well help to initiate conversations with the different neighborhoods and areas in town to get people aware of what's going on. Head them up in a way to want to be involved and participate. So you guys are going to be kind of the leaders on that, and we'll get you more information on what that will entail after our next meeting, I believe.
Yeah, you guys are being on hold. In all seriousness, we have to really begin to get the word out here on this, and we need your efforts, not just in that, but I need you guys to really be involved in everything that we have going on here. I know we ask a lot of everybody, but we only have 150th anniversary of the founding of the town. So I feel like we need more investment in time from you guys on these issues to work with Becca and help to get some of these events together and moving. Look, I'm in charge of sponsorship for the whole thing. If you have ideas for large sponsors to fund some of these activities, one of the things that we're trying to do is the fireworks display. We need money for that. So if people know, if you happen to know individuals, and this is not homemade fireworks display like New Year's Eve in Merchantville or July 4th in Merchantville, but this would be a professional show. So these are things that we're working on and trying to find money to fund. So we could use all the help that we can. We're looking for major sponsors. There's opportunities to do a lot of different things here. So first is let's get people excited about this. Let's talk to our neighbors. You guys can be the block captains for these events, specifically with regard to these floats. For the parade. I'm not asking you to make the float. I'm not asking you to do anything other than get your neighbors to get involved and really start to hype up that idea of the floats. We'd like to have community well represented. So.
And I will add, we have a really good team gathered together that's working on all these things now, and the events that are happening for another 6 months. We're already well into planning for them. We just had another great meeting today. Steve Borough and Janice Moore are spearheading that one, and have some really great ideas. We have that, and Zach Moore, sorry, yep. Jimmy Riccios, helping with we're gonna do like an adult dinner party downtown, which is gonna be really incredible. He's gonna run that one, and then Jim Brennan is organizing picnic in the park. So we've got people who know how to do things well, are great organizing, great at getting things done. We just need the support of our neighbors and as many folks as we can get to see it through.
So Rebecca will be reaching out to you guys to try and engage you and get you involved and so be on the lookout. Questions, concerns? What would be like that? I know you just put in a lot of effort in.
Hey guys, I'll make it work. What to say?
Where you going? Just a short flight back.
So I don't have. What's the thing that they should provide to make sure that they have something within.
May 18th and 19th is the big weekend, and the history night is February 20th.
I think the postcard might have.
I believe it's
We did schedule thing from February 16th to the 20th.
It's the only thing.
It's all right in the middle of the office.
It's the only time we turn 150. All right. One more. Where you're going. All right, next redevelopment area update. There's not a lot of updates. I'm trying to get to a point here where we're going to discuss what's going on the east side of that redevelopment area. Okay, so we're still talking about potentially a passive recreation area to complement clips and to maybe more formalize and extend our market season to allow for shoulder seasons with some sort of pavilion with heating and things like that. We're looking for potential for outdoor bathrooms there. We're looking for a lot of different things right now to really make that area a nice area where people are going to want to come and hang out. So we'll have more updates probably at a future meeting on that, but right now we still are looking to get that done in the same sort of time period. Maybe the phase 2 after the restaurant and Park Ave. We had a Park Ave meeting on the 7th of February. They were pretty much finished with design and looking to move forward on the streetscape. We're going to have, there's drawings downstairs. We're going to have as we discussed before, CME is meeting with team representatives, also during that same time period, first week or so of February, to go through the design for the pedestrian walkway elements. And once that's done, there will be a stakeholder meeting that will be going to bid. Restaurant is still moving forward at the bank. They're heavy into design, and although not perfect, we will gladly accept the recent changes to New Jersey liquor laws, because I do think that there is opportunity for us. So just to put this out there, two things. One, for the brewery, the rules and regulations that were very restricted. So they're able now to show games with sound and have food trucks sitting outside. Basically, the food or the brewery lobby wanted against the rest of us. Maybe, right? On the other side, on the liquor license side, which I think is important for us because we've always been confined by our population, the law is essentially going to allow us, beginning in July, to put out an RFP for inactive licenses in contiguous communities. And to potentially say, hey, we have opportunities here. You can do 1 per calendar year and 2 for every 5 years. This could be a great opportunity for us to basically bring in a new liquor license in the town, into one of our restaurants. Maybe it has to be in a redevelopment rehabilitation area. And so maybe it's something that we can get, and the restaurant going to the old bank building can have, we can look away from this concessionary license and lanes and all that. Or maybe it's an additional license that somebody else will want. But there's a process behind that. I've asked Tim and Denise to be ready to send an RFP on day 1 out. It would have to be responded to by private parties. There's a whole process. Ultimately, we would have to purchase it, and then
So we'll be purchasing not from these of the contiguous municipalities, but the actual private.
Correct.
yeah. Okay.
And there's so many years that has to be.
That's to be deemed inactive,
Yes.
so whatever the definition is. So, there has to be sign off from the contiguous communities, although I'm not sure that they can stop it. They do get these actions, so they make sure.
How did, and we don't have to be safe, I started reading through, but is there a way that we're on the hook for those costs? So if we purchase it for a certain price, it's not the same price? I wasn't quite sure how that actually goes.
I don't really know, that whole side of it, and obviously it's January, we'll be able to figure out exactly what we need to do in advance, because we just want to be a facilitator. Right?
Exactly.
We're just looking to move it from one party that's not using it to somebody who does.
Once it's in town, it's stay here. As long as
I believe that it does.
It stays and it doesn't count against you, it doesn't count against you, because it's one.
It does stay in council as long as it's active.
then it can be inactive for a period of time.
It doesn't, it's like abandoned properties, right? It has to be not used for X time before it gets deemed inactive, so.
Before it goes back.
Right. I'm not sure the exact.
Does it go back?
They haven't written the rules necessarily, all of this, the law is only the framework, and then the rules will be sort of what dictates exactly how that process happens. But
And we get one every year.
you can have 1 per calendar year, max 2 every 5 years. So the way I look at it for us,
So in 10 years, we can have 5 licenses.
in 10 years, we can have 5 licenses. And the way I look at it is
So,
by the middle of 20, I'm looking at no short term. I'm looking at if by 2025, we're able to get 2 additional liquor licenses for restaurants, those are more viable restaurants in our community. That is clearly the difference between what are sort of what you're seeing is restaurants that are struggling to survive based only on food versus those that are able to sell alcohol, which is a good profit, a good margin. So,
you're 3 municipalities.
well, we'll see. I can make that case, but I think it's just two, but. Yeah. We'll, that's for further consideration, but regarding our redevelopment area law. It's something that I know as soon as I saw this moving forward, I reached out to the redeveloper and said, this is coming. There's gonna be an opportunity. I want you to be aware of this law, pay attention. You know, if this is something you're interested in, it's gonna be out there. And then I think it could be a cornerstone to potentially a redevelopment on the west end too. I mean, not need to be in 2025, it could be in 2026, but we have a redevelopment plan. It's a redevelopment area. And it could be something that is the beginning of something down. So, you know, I think there's some planning in that second one. For me, the first one is, you know, it's a shitter. If I could put it there and remove the concessionaires, I think that would be preferable for us. I don't want to be, it would least all that. So anyway, we'll update you on that, but we are going to be prepared in July to get out those RFPs.
We're probably going to get into appraisal for something.
We don't have the instances that we've sold. Yeah, exactly. So I'm not sure, because it's gonna say it's like the average of the last 3 sales. The first one was probably really low, and hopefully we get the version of that. So, okay. That's that. All right, next. Cannabis consumption lounge rules. So, I put this on the agenda just so everybody's aware. The Cannabis Regulatory Commission finally adopted the rules for consumption lounges, for Class 5 licenses, okay? And I know that the group that is here is potentially interested in the consumption lounge. However, the one in those rules that is potentially the sticky wicket for them is you can only have one in the entire state. Doesn't matter how many licenses you have. So I know they have multiple licenses in this state. I know they have one in Central Jersey. I won't know what their preference is. I've had discussions with them and said, look, this is not like a slam dunk in Merchantville that you're, you know, that this is what you want to do. I don't know that we have support for this. And I've had some discussions with them. I was trying to discuss with them to see where they were today. I just could not connect with them. I had intended to, I just didn't get a chance to. I want to find out what they're thinking, because it may have changed based, you know, before I think they just thought they had a by right Class 5, no matter what, but the more you read the rules, it is just one in the state. So if you have multiple licenses, you can only do one. So I'm not sure if this is the priority place for them or not. And if it is, what I've already spoken to them about is, well, there's going to have to be some very serious discussions about what that means. And they recognize that they need our support, or they won't have any licensed location in the town. So they recognize that they need to come to the table ready to discuss if that is something they want to look at here. Ready to discuss how exactly we can protect the interests of our taxpayers and residents and children and any of the other interested parties that might be interested in what happens there. So I don't think it's something that's ripe for material and substantive discussion amongst this group. But I did want to give a heads up that, hey, it is now, it wasn't illegal before, but it is now legal, and rules will be published in the register, I think in February. So it will be ready to go, and they may be interested. We may have to have a real discussion with them at some point. And I would imagine that would be something that would occur, you know, obviously with everybody's input here. So keep that in mind. Think about, you know, where you are, how you're feeling about that, what things you would be looking for. And you know, I know anything, I have a number of discussions about this, and there are certain things that are kind of like a must, or in our opinion, like things that we would like to see if something like this was going to come forward. But no guarantees. Questions? I can answer whatever. I don't know. Other than
I guess I said to council for my back conversations, they definitely need a resolution for this time to proceed with that, so.
Yes, and there's a separate application process that they can get if there's approval from us.
And then approval from the.
Right.
Regulatory.
It's like, it's an add-on, let's say, I think it was $1,000 or something.
Yeah.
It's just an add-on to their license. You can't get it unless you're class 5, because you know, obviously no reason why you would want one retail. And again, there has to be alignment with the community, so. There's a lot of steps and hoops to go through here, but I do know that they had expressed an interest before the rules came out. I don't know how that's changed in the last week. All right.
Is there timeline for?
You know, I think that they're waiting on final state approvals. Just, they have all local approvals and all COs and everything's good. They are, I don't know. I thought they would begin in January. And now, you know, go to their Facebook page, it says April 3rd or something like that. I know that there is something that is holding them up at this point that is not us. And I think it might have to do with some final approval through stage or CRC or something. I don't know.
My understanding was that it's, I think, I thought last time I heard from my conversation that they had finished their work first, even at this point, on the building itself.
I think they're complete, those, all the COs have been, issued.
Yeah, I think
It's a
there's
state,
seriously.
they're waiting on the state.
Yeah, I think once the
We
CO.
hire them, employees, everything, they're ready to go.
One of the last posts that they put was that they passed final inspection, they're waiting on paperwork, so. And I don't know whether it's regulatory committee paperwork, and they need sporadically, so it could even be that.
They have all the approvals at a committee level that they need. I would imagine it would be administratively internal to the regulatory commission. But I don't know. Again, I had intended to try and talk to them today and I just didn't get, because I wanted to understand where they were. If this is the one that they're looking for, then, you know, that would require some conversation. That's it. I have this evening for caucus for new business. We have approved the use of facilities for music fest. Is there anything else that anyone in new business would like to discuss this evening? Before we move on to the approval of the use of facility. Okay. Approval of use of facility for music fest. Mr. McCoy.
Yes, so I have an application here from the Merchantville Music Committee. They are looking to use September 21st, 2024 as the date of this year's Music Fest. There's a little, I would say, to be advised to be depending on the location, if there's any type of work that's being done in their usual area, but they do map out all the sort of contingency options and things as they get closer to the date. It has been signed off by Public Works, Community Development Director, Chief Patty, and just looking for approval today for that date.
Do they already need?
There's no rain date listed, but I know they have precedent in going.
Yeah, the range of last month's minutes, but multiple months later.
Right, it's always what I was suggesting.
Well, fun, during,
It was originally supposed to be in the summer and then it was,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then it got, October.
that's what I was suggesting, if they should rain date. I mean, I'm okay with approving, I'm saying that they should probably have a rain date.
What's the auxiliary space? What other space are they proposing if the triangle is unavailable, which it may be unavailable? I mean, I think there's a strong likelihood, but I'm just sure.
They haven't.
I thought it's,
Other places have.
I think Sunny Street was March.
Right, I mean, we closed down Center Street, that one, that was pretty tall.
Rebecca reached out to me about meeting with them to talk about it, and I said, it's not right.
We have. But that won't work because of the size of the stage, something with the stage wouldn't work, which I was has to be delivered like the night before, so it has to be somewhere where a stage can be stored. And then moved, it was like, that's not bad, there's just.
Option B was East Chestnut Avenue, near Clips Road, and option C was Center Street, staging area for Vermont.
Okay. Well, look, we'll continue to work on this. I would expect, and I'm not gonna put words in the county's mouth, but we're gonna have a meeting with the county on East Park Avenue, like I said, first week in February. They'll be out by the end of February. And probably construction in late spring. I don't know, I mean, it's full, they're ready to go. No, they're moving. It's not federal funded, it's all their own. Yeah. So it's East Park. But, but it's also, I mean, I say that, and at the same time, this has been a coordinated effort with the Pedestrian Walkway. At the same time, so they're not gonna bid together, because the Pedestrian Walkway is federal monies. Pedestrian Walkway is gonna be slower because we have to ask for additional supplemental dollars.
That is like asking in the street and going down or starting.
The pedestrian walkway,
Yeah.
maybe, I think it goes down to bid later. Yeah, that's mine, because I just think we have to get supplemental funds because everything costs so much more as compared to the 2016 TAC grant, that's what this is, so. That's why I said, and Rebecca asked me to talk about it, I said, I mean, I can talk about it, but, you know, I can't give you an answer. So, there reason, but okay. Andrew's moving that, do I have a second? Second, Mr. Corno, any other discussion?
I have a question about that area. It's the flashing light that crosses up across, Center Street. It doesn't always work. I find it only works like Halloween.
All right, well, let's vote for this first.
Okay.
I should.
All right.
I'm sorry.
I just wanted to work it all.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now that light. All right.
So,
Okay.
after the county did their work on the road, they hit some wire in there. They're saying they don't get a wire because when we ask them to come out to test the light works. When it rains or there's some moisture in the air, there's a short that's happening and it shorts the light out. Then when it dries out, it works.
Turns out, it doesn't matter how hard you hit the button, it still doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, it will work on this, I mean, she goes, it's like if it's dark.
One way you'll notice, if it had just rained the night before, or, and so then we call and have someone come out to look at it. The light's shining out by the time they get out there, and they charge us $500 for the site visit to do the investigation. And the guy literally told us, you need to wait until the thing fully shorts out. Which is, I don't find an acceptable answer, but that's the answer I have. And it's I've had it out 4 times.
Yeah.
For that, like we spent almost $2,000 in just investigations, the guy tell me, I can't figure out what's wrong. Am I right? It's been the bane of my existence.
It really.
Bane of my existence.
And you've never seen anything out there with a flashlight?
My husband lost, push that thing, I'm like, you know, it's not gonna work, so you get next today.
Stop it, move on. And one side is working wrong, the other side,
Yeah. It's not great. Okay. Resolutions to be approved during the fall of the environment center. We have, resolution 2423, cancel checks on cash over 6 months. Do I have a motion to remove resolution 2423?
So,
I have a motion and a second, Mr. Fitzgerald, roll call, please.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Aye.
Mr. McLean.
Yes.
Mr. Morales.
Yes.
Mr. Kerno.
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance for adoption, the next council meeting will be the cap bank ordinance, which we introduced at the last meeting. We will possibly introduce an ordinance on the, but not definitely, actually not at the next meeting. That's the next meeting where we'll have a discussion, actually introduce that then. For those of you, Borough Hall is going to be closed from 10:30 to 11:30 on Thursday, so that borough staff can attend and do the services.
anybody else that wants to contribute, we're ordering flowers tomorrow. So I have money from several people, thank you, I just got from Venmo and some people came today. So if you want to do anything, please do it by tomorrow if you can. And, don't forget that the Borough dinner is tomorrow at 5 o'clock and Blue Monkey.
Oh, my.
So you forgot that the Borough dinner is for 5 o'clock. Second floor,
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, sorry,
For the services.
Clementon, Brewster, yeah. Thank you. About the location, I can send it to all of you, I have it. Mhm. And, any questions?
No, I don't think so. Anybody else in the news?
Alright.
I don't know why it was on the calendar, because it was on the calendar.
Yes, not.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Have a motion, Mr. Strada, second, Mr. Fitzgerald, all in favor, opposed. Thank you very much.
So you got 30 days without notice.
30 separate violations.
Yeah, you got to violate.